to win. He does need points to build up for the World Championship and to make it 2 in a row for the Roberts-Lawson team. 1983, Roberts, and they're away. And it's Haslam. As usual, Ron Haslam makes a terrific start and goes into the lead with Sheen in second places. British rider first and second as they go into the right-hander at Copse. From Copse up into 5th gear for Maggotts, building up towards 140 miles an hour. It's Ron Haslam, Rocket Ron, well named, who is leading the British Grand Prix, and Lawson coming through. There's Lawson now in 3rd position as they go into the right-hander at Beckett's. From Beckett's to Chapel, from Chapel down the Hanger Straight at 160, yes, 160 miles an hour, and it's Barry Sheene still in 2nd position, chasing Ron Haslam and losing that 3rd position. And it's De Rodriguez who is in 2nd position. So it's Haslam leading, Honda, De Rodriguez, the Belgian, 2nd, Honda. Barry Sheene is 3rd on the Suzuki. 4th is Eddie Lawson on the Yamaha, and Ron Haslam, making the most of his clear circuit in front of him, is away in the lead, coming up to complete lap 1.
Well, Ron has made a reputation this year of his early meteoric starts. The only thing is he has tired during the race. I think De Rodriguez is the real threat here because he did a superb job in the practice series.
Into Woodcote and out of it. It's Haslam leading, De Rodriguez. Sheene is 3rd, Mamola is 4th, Lawson is 5th. And you're looking at number 17, De Rodriguez, in on the Honda 3-cylinder with its works engine, chasing the full works Honda of Ron Haslam, the man who has been the Formula 3 world champion, the Formula 1 world champion, who has won the TT, and just about everything else in Britain is possible to win. Sheene is still 3rd. This is magnificent because Barry Sheene was not expecting to do well if the race was dry. Rod McElney, the British rider, just out of plaster cast, is in 9th position.
And Barry last night had to change an engine because in the short period of practice which he did do, it seized a piston.
And up into 3rd position now has come Randy Mamola, the American, on the 4-cylinder Honda. So it's Honda's 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's Barry Sheene, number 7, in 4th position. Behind Barry Sheene, who is 4th, is number 4. And then behind it is Roche. Roche is ahead of Lawson. Roche, number 11. So the Hondas are packing the front, with Suzuki of Barry Sheene in 4th position, and the Yamaha of number 4 there, Eddie Lawson, on lap 2 in 6th position.
And the one thing that Lawson didn't want was to get Roche in front of him, because he said that he could have won, in fact, the Dutch Grand Prix, but Roche being in front frightened the life out of him.
And Barry Sheene at his home circuit, Silverstone, in front of his home crowd, the British, is now holding on to Randy Mamola. Barry Sheene has got the 1983 Suzuki Works equipment. The power valve is missing off his engine, which reduces the ultimate performance, but pleases Barry in terms of power characteristics, and he's in 4th position. Just behind Mamola, just ahead of Roche, who is just ahead of Lawson. And now on lap 3, it's Mamola, De Rodriguez, it's Haslam, sorry, then De Rodriguez. Mamola is 3rd still. Sheene is 4th. Lawson and Roche are battling for 5th.
And in fact, you're seeing a new development there, because each of those leading machines have got radial rear tyres on, and Barry's using one for the very first time.
Don't forget that Eddie Lawson, provided he is well up at the front, which he is now in 4th position, may decide not to challenge for the lead. He has got a 20 points advantage in the World Championship ahead of Freddie Spencer, who is not riding here, who is nursing a broken collarbone at his home in Shreveport in Louisiana after falling at Laguna Seca in America and probably ruining the decision ever to ride there. So it's still Ron Haslam on lap 3 in this 28-lap race, leading the British Grand Prix. Honda challenged by De Rodriguez. Honda 3rd, the 4-cylinder Honda of Mamola, and Mamola has now got behind him Eddie Lawson on the Yamaha. Then Roche, number 11, 5th. Barry Sheene is down to 6th. And the Pucker 1984 machines are getting past Sheene because basically of superior power. And look at the way Mamola is riding in 3rd position, chasing De Rodriguez, who is chasing Haslam. And those are the 1st and 3rd men in the World Championship. Number 3, Mamola, Randy Mamola, with his dramatic, exciting, distinctive riding style. The 24-year-old man from Santa Clara, California, who missed the first 2 rounds of the World Championship this year because he left Suzuki last year and was not expected to be taking part in Grand Prix racing at all this year. Then dramatically he got a Honda to ride, and he did so well with Spencer having problems, both machine and personal, that Mamola has been given a full works ride and is now on the 4-cylinder machine, and that is the bike that Spencer won on in Italy, in France and in Yugoslavia, the 4-cylinder Honda.
But at the same time, it hasn't been reckoned as the most competitive one. And so they're trying to bring the development program forward by giving this to Mamola.
And as De Rodriguez and Haslam fight for the lead, so Mamola and now De Rodriguez leads on lap 4. The Belgian is through ahead of Ron Haslam. Well be because of this very special frame that he has had built, which seems to give superior handling characteristics, because Ron Haslam is no man to hang about. But De Rodriguez, number 17, the 25-year-old Bruxellois, is in the lead for the 2nd time in the Grand Prix. The first time was in South Africa at the beginning of the season, in conditions which were as different from this as they possibly could be, because it was pouring with rain.
And De Rodriguez is in fact a development from the 250 class of racing.
There he is, 17, 9, Haslam 2nd, 3, Mamola 3rd, Honda's 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Lawson, number 4, in 4th position, because he has got ahead of Mamola now. No, ahead of Roche. There they are, Mamola number 3, 3rd, Lawson number 4, 4th, Roche number 11, 5th.
And the speed is showing very, very equal between them at the moment. The Yamaha was reckoned to have slightly the top edge.
British riders, Alan Irwin, the Irishman, and Roger Burnett, both out of the race in the very early stages. Haslam back in front. De Rodriguez is 2nd. Right up with him now. Number 3 there, 3rd. Mamola. Watch the way they get right off the machines to keep the machine as upright as possible and as much tyre area on the ground as possible. And they know they've gone as far as they can when their knee is dragging on the ground, and that's why they have special padding on the knee. And when they feel that rubbing on the ground, it's time to lift the bike a bit. Haslam. From a racing family, Ron Haslam. His brother raced, his brother Terry races sidecars. And now Mamola is starting to wear down the Belgian De Rodriguez as Haslam goes into the right-hander at Stowe, and that's a 90-mile-an-hour bend. Up to 5th gear and 140 miles an hour. Down to 3rd gear and 90 for Club Corner. From Club Corner up to the fastest part of the course. Into 4th gear here, to 5th gear here. Round Abbey Curve, which is where Roche fell off yesterday. Into 6th gear. And as they go underneath the bridge, they are doing 160 miles an hour. Down to 5th to take Woodcote at 120. And at the end of this, lap 6, it is Haslam, De Rodriguez, Mamola, Lawson. Behind Lawson, Raymond Roche, and then Barry Sheene still hanging on there, and right up with them, there he is in 6th position. There have been a lot of knockers who have said that Barry Sheene's racing days are over. How wrong they are. All Barry has ever needed is the right equipment. He does not lack the racing will, and there's never been any doubt about the fact that he's got the racing ability, and he's proving it right here. 33-year-old Barry Sheene right up with them in 6th position. In 5th position, it is Roche. In 4th position, it is Lawson. 3rd is Mamola. 2nd is De Radigues. And the leader is Ron Haslam from Langley Mill. Mamola goes through. He's up to 2nd. He has worn down De Radigues. He is up to 2nd.
Well, they are spoiling each other, because at these sort of speeds, what you do find is there's a lot of disturbance, and today we have a reasonable amount of wind. And so the line through the corner is all important for a maximum lap speed, and none of these except the leader can do it.
And Haslam is actually building up, in the terms of this race, a bit of a cushion. He must be all of half a second in the lead. That's a lot in the 1984 500 British Grand Prix. Here he comes towards us now. Watch the way they get right down and then out of the fairing into the 120-mile-an-hour Woodcote Bend to complete lap 7. And the gap between Haslam in the lead and Sheen in 6th place is 1.4 seconds. Lawson is now right up alongside De Radigues and going up into 3rd position. Roche is in there too.
And you may have seen just behind that leading bunch, in fact, is Mick Grant on the other Suzuki.
The veteran, 40-year-old Mick Grant. Watch for him, the multiple TT winner. And Grant is number 57. There he is. That's a terrific performance by Mick Grant. Somebody off at Stowe. We can't identify. Now, let's have a look closely at him and see. It's Beccheroni. It's Beccheroni, the Italian rider, and he's obviously okay from the way he's walking, albeit sadly in. And as ever, the marshals are insisting that he has medical attention, if nothing more than a check, before he goes away any further. There's the doctor checking that he is okay. Beccheroni was in 8th position. So that's tough on him, because he might well have finished in the points. Now we are on lap 13, coming up to the half-distance lap. The battle at the front rages. Mamola, Lawson, Haslam, Stowe corner this is, De Radigues 4th, down to Club. Lawson takes the lead. 3 Hondas, 1 Yamaha. Up to Abbey. Lawson, Mamola, Haslam, De Radigues. Up to the bridge at 160 miles an hour. Down into 5th to take Woodcote.
You saw there how he took, in fact, the wider line when he had the clear road in front.
Magnificently smooth, effortless style Eddie Lawson has. He's been racing for 18 of his 26 years from when he was a schoolboy. First in the Daytona 250, twice Superbike champion of America. Last season, his first in International World Championship 500cc racing outside America. And he celebrated that by finishing very well up in the championship last year.
In fact, that was the first time he'd ever ridden a Grand Prix 500 motorcycle last year, so it's a tremendous performance.
And Eddie Lawson there has scored in every round of the World Championship this year. He won in South Africa, in Spain, in Austria. 2nd in Italy, Germany, France. He's lost the lead to Randy Mamola, but he's lost it before and regained it. He'll do so again. Ron Haslam, though, is still there, and he could just be riding a canny race as they close up on Paolo Ferretti, the Italian rider, the man from Lugo, on a private Honda. That's number 53, who's just about to be engulfed by Lawson, Haslam, Mamola and De Radigues. In 7th position, it's Virginio Ferrari. 8th is the leading purely private rider, Paul Lewis. 9th is Britain's Rob McElney, riding the new Heron Suzuki with the honeycomb frame, only out of plaster about 4 days. And in 10th position is the Frenchman Lelia, who is Rodrigues' teammate. Rodrigues' teammate, my apologies. At 15, absolute trust each of these riders has got again in the others, and they have to ride wheel to wheel, elbow to elbow, fairing to fairing at speeds like this. They've got the hazard now of coming up and lapping tail enders as they go past number 62 there, Christian Berkey, the Swiss rider on the Suzuki. But they do that without trouble because there's plenty of room at Silverstone with its wide track to get past. And Lawson leads into Stowe.
He'll no doubt be much more relaxed now that Roche is out of the way, because the pair of those have had a few fair-in, bang-in sessions in previous races.
Yes, Raymond Roche is not above, when the circumstances call for it, removing his foot from the footrest and shoving the other bloke. And it's happened at least once on the Grand Prix circuits this year, and it was fortunate that there wasn't a pretty nasty accident as a result of it. But Roche is out of the race. Lawson now
has taken advantage of that little passing operation and has in fact taken a small lead over Mamola.
It's a lead that you can hardly time as they go into Woodcote, with Mamola in second place, Haslam third, de Redigue in fourth position. It's just about 4/10 of a second as they went into Woodcote, but I've no doubt that Mamola will close it. Eddie Lawson on his 16th lap then, 8 laps to go now. They're coming up to lap yet more who are midfield men now. Alan Irwin is one of them, who seems to have rejoined the race, having ridden out of it earlier on. And in absolutely superb conditions, there's a big crowd, not the biggest I've ever seen at Silverstone for this event, but a big one nevertheless. And they're seeing magnificent racing, as now Mamola, having, I suspect, John, having had a bit of a rest in his terms, has now decided to charge again and is right up with Lawson, ahead of Haslam third and de Redigue fourth, and less than 2 seconds between the first and fourth.
But he's going to try and keep the pressure on Lawson, because of course it is Honda's only hope that Lawson will make a mistake. And so I think that there's no point in Mamola just disappearing, despite the fact that I don't think that he could in fact do so. But he just has to harass Lawson at this point.
If Lawson wins this race, he'll get 15 World Championship points to add to the 107 that he already has, to give him 122. And Mamola would get 12, which would give him 93. And with only 2 races to go, a possible 30 points for the top 2 places, it would mean that Eddie Lawson was virtually home and dry as world champion for the first time in his career.
I think Mamola is trying very hard. You notice how he's using all the road on the way out. He's over the sort of concrete paving on the outside, whereas Lawson is still staying just inside the white line.
Yeah, it's terribly, terribly difficult, if not impossible, to communicate just what supermen these are. These 2-wheel projectiles, which develop well over 120 miles an hour, are heeled right over on the corners. One wrong pressure on the twist grip and you can lose it altogether. And now Wayne Gardner, 6th, and Ferrari 7th, are up with Barry Sheene battling for 5th position. So the battle for the lead continues, and there's a great scrap developing for 5th place. There are the first 2. There are Haslam and de Redigue. Now we should see 3 riders very closely together. These are 2 tail enders. And there they are. Amongst that lot is number 7, Barry Sheene, number 18, Wayne Gardner, number 33, Virginio Ferrari. There they are. There's 33, Virginio Ferrari, the second of the 2 Yamaha Works riders, with Wayne Gardner, number 18, and they've both passed Barry Sheene. So that means to say that Wayne Gardner is now 5th, Ferrari is now 6th, and Sheene is now down at number 7 with his number 7 on his machine. And that with them riding round there and about to be lapped is Mila Pajic, the Dutch rider on the Suzuki.
And Ferrari's right in there as well, because he's a storm boy.
"24-lap race. This is lap 18. Here are the leaders, and it does seem to me that if you take the race as a whole, corner by corner, lap by lap, that Eddie Lawson is not in the ascendancy, he is now very firmly established in a lead, which is going to be very, very difficult, even for Randy Mamola to displace him from. And if Lawson wins, it will be to add to his victories from South Africa, Spain and Austria. This very quiet man who tends to be overlooked in consideration about who are the best riders, even though he's leading the World Championship, because he has a very quiet and retiring nature, an extremely nice, eloquent, deep-thinking man. And he comes out of Woodcote now to complete lap 18, and the gap between Lawson, the leader, and Mamola in second place is, well, just under half a second, and it's less than that now. It's a matter of machines' lengths. So Mamola's not giving up. Short, stocky, very strong. Randy freckle-faced gingerhead Mamola is hanging on, and Roger Marshall is in 11th place. The British champion, 4 times British champion on his Honda, battling it out with Bert van Doelman, the Dutch rider. And the race order on this, the 19th lap, is, you are looking at the leader, Eddie Lawson, chased by Randy Mamola. Third is Didier de Rodriguez as Mamola challenges for the lead and takes it.
He was just able to pull out.
Haslam. 5th is Gardner, 6th is Ferrari, 7th is Sheep.
Yes, that time he was just able to pull out of the slipstream and get through. No one. Oh, something's come off him.
That, I fear, is one of the many hares that run about at Silverstone. They've been flushed out of the fields by I don't know what, but there have been several of them running about in the practice period, and I fear that that was one failing to make it across the course.
I just hope he hasn't done any damage to the lower petrol tank, because the petrol tank on the 4-cylinder Honda there is actually slung underneath the engine.
Yes. Did you reckon it was Mamola who hit it, John?
Well, I just think it bounced between the pair of them.
Yes. Well, that's a very good point, incidentally, because with Lawson back in the lead, as we look at Mamola's machine, it's all upside down, as it were, because what seems like a petrol tank underneath the rider's chest is, in fact, a cover for the exhaust pipes, which go over the top of the engine. And the petrol, in order to keep the weight as much as possible down and the centre of gravity as low as possible, is actually underneath the engine. You're looking at the petrol tank now, that white bit.
Just below the
Honda.
Honda.
Bottom of the fairing, yes. And that fairing over the exhaust pipes gets very hot. If you look just over the rider's hands of the 4-cylinder Honda, the fairing, you will see there is an NACA duct as Mamola retakes the lead from Lawson. That duct leads into a black pipe, which leads into an airspace between the top of the exhaust pipes and the fairing in order to keep the temperature down as much as possible. And Mamola surges between 2 riders, one of whom was Simon Buckmaster, and you are now seeing an absolutely magnificent scrap. Number 4, Eddie Lawson, world champion designate, and Randy Mamola, the only man who can prevent him at this meeting from getting that championship.
And I think that, in fact, Lawson has decided a really race, because you notice he got wide on that corner, got into the loose stuff, got into a little trouble, but still went ahead and took the inside place and the lead again.
And Rob McElney, recovering from his French Grand Prix leg injury on the new monocoque Heron Suzuki, is in 8th position. Lawson leads, Mamola 2nd, de Rodriguez 3rd, Haslam 4th, Gardner 5th, Ferrari 6th, Sheen 7th, and the Heron Suzuki of Rob McElney is in 8th place. Randy Mamola has put up the fastest lap, 1:29.72, 1.5 seconds outside Kenny Roberts' lap record, and Mamola's speed 117.4 miles an hour. There he is.
And in fact, that machine and the Heron both have another new development in this race. They have the carbon fibre rear brake discs.
Breathtaking stuff. Lap 21. Paul Lewis, and that is Paul Lewis's bike. Paul Lewis has overdone it and dropped it. So that means that McElney, Roger Marshall and Katayama are battling for 8th position. That, I regret to say, does not look good, because the straw bales are being put round Paul Lewis. And round now on the 26th lap with 2 to go at the end of it. Mamola, and he nearly had the back step away from him then. But such are the young American's reflexes, and he's really riding at about 11/10, John, if that were possible.
That's for sure. But of course, his dirt track experience really stands him in good stead there. He's able to sort of take those slides, and this is where the Americans score.
Completing now lap 26. Mamola, and he's building up definitely a lead now, because it's 1.5 seconds lead over Eddie Lawson.
That little wiggle in the machine shows that he's right on the ragged edge. And of course, you remember, he doesn't really know this machine. It's his first race with it. So Lawson may be deciding to play it safe for second.
Just look at the way Mamola is going. He has taken Franco Uncini, or the ex-world champion, the Italian who was hit by Wayne Gardner in last year's Dutch Grand Prix, Dutch TT. And Mamola now is on his last lap but one. He won here in 1980, and it looks as though he's going to win again.
And he got by at a vital point there, because now he's got a cushion of those people who were lapping. He's been able to pull out a few more yards.
Yes, my goodness, he's fighting that machine. And Lawson now is about to take Mick Grant, the oldest rider, 40-year-old Mick Grant, the oldest rider, double Grand Prix winner and multiple TT winner. And Lawson still hasn't got past the British veteran. There is Mick Grant, number 57. Lawson leans the Yamaha over on absolutely full whack and gets past Mick there. But I've little doubt that that's given Randy Mamola the opportunity marginally to increase his lead as he comes into Woodcote now to start his last lap. And the gap between Mamola and Lawson is 2 seconds now. Last lap, let's go round with the potential victor and second place man. There is the man who's going to be second, unless something happens to the leader, Randy Mamola, in the last 2.5 miles of the race. Because with Lawson coming up to Maggots, then down into Beckett's, here is the race leader, 24-year-old Californian Randy Mamola, who won here in 1980, who's finished second in Spain, won in Holland, third in both Austria, Germany and France, second in Belgium, third in the World Championship, to add 15 points to the 81 that he already has. Into Stowe, there is no way, unless Mamola is blocked by these riders in front of him, that Lawson will catch it. And now, De Rodriguez is missing, Ferrari is up to 4th, Sheen is up into 5th, Wayne Gardner is back into 6th position. And Mamola's going through. Where is Lawson? There he is. And number 53, Paolo Ferretti, has been lapped for the second time. Randy Mamola, as he passes the tail enders, is under the bridge, is up to Woodcote, is into the last corner, and I'm glad to say that Paul Lewis is perfectly okay. And Randy Mamola gives a sign of victory as he wins the 1984 British Grand Prix from Eddie Lawson on the Yamaha in second position. And yeah, Randy has won a magnificent victory. The World Championship has yet to be decided.
A superb ride.